Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, do not forget to like, subscribe and share. So today's video I'm going to teach you the lead code problem 128, which is longest consecutive sequences. So I'm going to use optimal approach, which is a asset based uh, algorithm. I'm going to solve this problem. So let's analyze this problem statement. So what do you mean by consecutive sequences? So consecutive sequence in the sense like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so etc. This is something sequences, right? So among them, these are the consecutive sequences. So if you take another example like 100, 101, 102, this is one consecutive sequences. So they are saying to find out the longest consecutive sequences. Let's take this example for defining the problem statement. So they give an unsorted array which is 104, 200, 1, 3, 2. So what are you going to do? You are going to find out the sequences. So I can able to say 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there, so 4 is there. So you can able to say this is one consecutive. So 100 is there, 101 is not there, so you just take 100. So another consecutive is 200. So this is length is 4. So how many numbers are there? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 numbers are there. So 4. So how many length? 1 length. How many length? 1 length. So you are going to among them which is longest. You can able to say this is longest, right? You just want to return that length in an output console. So this is what the problem statement. I will explain you how to solve this using an optimal approach. So I am going to solve this problem using an hash set. So I defined in diagram. So this is a set. I am going to store every element given an array in this set. So first 100 is there. I am going to store that 100. So next 4 is there. So I am going to store that also. So 200 is there. So like that I am going to store every element in a given array to the set. So every element is stored in a set. What I'm going to do, I'm going to iterate through the elements. So first is an 100 is there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to check for the previous element. So you can able to say 99 is the previous element of 100, right? After the 99, the 100 comes. So I will check whether this 99 previous number, which is in the hash set. So I'm going to check. You are on 99? No. You are 99? No. You are 99? No. You are 99? No. So like that I'm going to check. So there is no 99 number in the set. What I'm going to do, I'm going to, that's if there is not 99, that means 100 is the starting number, right? Because 100 is the starting number, I'm going to check for the next number, which is 101. Whether 101 is the in the asset, 101, 101, no, no, no. So there is no 101 in the set. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to return the length of this. What is the length? 1, right? So count becomes 1 and longest remains as it is 1 itself. Then I'm going to check for the next element, which is 4. So 4 is there. You're going to take the previous element, which is 3. After the 3 itself, 4 will come, right? So you want to check this 3. It is in the hash map. If it is in the hash map, you do not going to do, you do not going to, not going to check for the next element, because if you check here, the sequence from starting 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. If you check from middle, you sure want to check from 1 also, right? So this repeated iteration we do not need. For avoiding the duplicate iterations or repeating these iterations, we should try these conditions, right? So that you can able to save the time complexities. So what you do not going to check for the next number, you go simply going for the next number, which is 200. For 200, what is the previous number, which is 199, right? So 199 is in the hash map? No, it is not in the hash map, because you can check 199 is not in the set. So what are you going to do? You're going to for the checking for next element, because 200 is the starting point. Here 3 is not the starting point, 1 is the starting point. So like that. So you're going to check for the 201. It is 201 in the asset? No, it is not there. You simply return that count, which is 1 itself. Don't worry about that. So check for the next number, which is 1. Here carefully observe, this is important, you can able to get what I'm saying. So you're going to check for the next previous element, which is 0. After the 0 itself 1 will come, right? So is it 0 is in the set? 0 0 0? Oh no, there is not 0 in the set. What are you going to do? You simply going to check for the next element 2, because it is not there in the set, means 1 is the beginning, right? So that you're going to check for the next element, which is 2. Whether 2 is in the hash set? Yeah, it is there. If it is there, make counter updation for 2, and eventually long you do not going to for the long, because after the count iterations you are going to update its longest. Then you're going to check for the 3, which is 3 is in the set. Yeah, it is there, which is in the set. So make count updation, which become 3. Then you're going to check for the next number, which is 4. Whether 4 in the set? Yeah, it is there. Then you're going to update and make it count as 4. So now the count is 4. Okay, so the count is 4. Then you're going to check for the next element, which is 5. Is it 5 in the set? No, it is not there. Then you are going to simply return that length and you update the longest, which is count is 4, right? Like that you're going to do. So next you're going for the next element, which is 3. You're going to check for the previous element, which is 2. Whether 2 is in the set? Yeah, it is there though. So if it is there, then you're going to not check for the next element. Okay, like that. It's funda, simple explanation. So I'm going to for the checking for next element, which is 2. I'm going to check for the previous number. Is it in the hash map? Yeah, it is there. So simply do not check for next number. Go to the next number. Here ends the loop, and eventually you will get the longest as output. So I'm going to explain one more example so that you can able to get properly. So I already solved this example. Let's solve this example. So I'm keeping counter for counting the consecutive sequence. For longest consecutive sequence, I'm keeping variable as longest for storing a longest consecutive sequences. So first step, I'm going to put array elements in a set. So first element is 0. I'm going to put in a set like that, 3, 7, and 2, and 5, then 8, then 4, and then the 6, and then the 0, and then the 1. So like that, I'm going to put it in a set. Next, you are going to iterate through the every element. So 0. Checking for the previous element, which is -1. Right? After the -1, 0 will come. You will check -1. Is it in the hash set? So -1, -1, -1, -1. So there is no -1 in the set. That means 0 is the starting point. You can check for the next element, which is 1. Whether 1 is in the set? Yeah, it is there. So update and make it count as 1. So here 0 will count as 1. So for 1, it should be count as 2. So checking for next element, which is 2. So whether 2 is in the set? Yeah, it is there. Make count as 3. Check for the next element, which is 3. Whether 3 is in the hash set? Yeah, it's there. Make it count as 4. Check for the next element, which is 4. Whether 4 is in the hash set? Yeah, it's there. Make count as 5 and check for the next element, which is 5. So whether 5 is in the hash set? Yeah, it's there. Make count updation and check for the next element, which is 6. Whether 6 in the hash set? Yeah, it's there. make the count updation and check for the next element, which is 7. Whether 7 is in the asset, 7, yeah, is there. So update the count and check for the next element, which is 8. Whether 8 is in the asset, yeah, is there. Update the count and check for the next element, which is 9. Whether 9 is in the asset, no, 9 does not exist. So here end the loop and the count will become, yeah, so 9. You're going to update in a longest, which is 9. Then you're going to the next element, which is 3. So for better understanding, I erased the previous iterations. So next going for third element, we are going to check. So 3 is there. So you're going to for checking for previous element where they is in the asset. So 2 is there in the asset. Here 2 is there in the asset. What are you going to do? So if there, you do not going to check for next element. You do not going to check for the 4. Going for next element 7. So previous element is 8. Of course 8 is in the asset. Do nothing. Check for next element 2. Checking for previous element. Whether 1 is in the asset, yeah, is there. Do not do anything. Check for the next element, which is 5. Okay, 5. Your previous is 4, right? It is in the asset, yeah, is there. Do not do anything. Check for the next element. Like that you're going to iterate. Okay, so 8. Do you have previous element is in the asset? Oh yeah, is there. Do not do anything. Go for the next element. So 4. So 4 previous element is 3. 3 is in the set. Yeah, is there. Do not do anything. Go for next element, which is 6. So 6 previous element is 5. 5 is in the asset. Yeah, is there. Do not do anything. Go for the next element. So next element is 0. So here what happens? 0 is already calculated, right? So here the set will not store the 0 because 0 already taken. So set will automatically avoid the duplicate element. It is going to avoid the duplicate element. So you would not store it in a asset. Do not worry about that. So next is a 1. The previous element is 0. What are you going to do? Check for the set whether it is in the set. Yeah, it is there. If it is there, you do not going for the next element. You're going to check for the another element, which is end of the loop. So at the end you are going to return the longest, which is 9. Okay, that what is you are going to do. As per now, I already solved these 2 examples. Give it a try this example. I will leave this solution in a description. So same thing, you are going to store element in a set and going to check for the previous element whether it is there. Whether it is there, you do not going to check for the next element and you're going to move. If it is not there, then you are going to count and checking for the next element. So give it a try this simple example. You will get to know better. Okay, let's code this up in a LeetCode. So I'm in the LeetCode problem 128 longest consecutive sequences. They given an unsorted array of a integers nums. Return the length of the longest consecutive element sequences. You must write an algorithm that runs in a big of n time. So let's code this up. So I'm taking length of the array. I'm storing it in a n. So if one more condition, if array is empty means you are going to return 0. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take two variable which I mentioned in a explanation. Count for counting the consecutive sequences, for storing a longest consecutive. So I'm taking longest. However, the longest minimum is 1 because every element is long, length is 1, right? So that. So I'm taking set. Yeah, I'm going to define set, which I name it as set itself. So this is hash set. Yeah, this is the initialization of set. So what I am going to do, I store every element using a for loop. I am going to store every element and using an add function. Set.add function will add the element to the set and it avoids the duplicate element. So every element is stored in a set now. Next, what I am going to do, I am going to do iteration for iterate through the array using a for loop. For each loop, I am going to use for each loop for better for the set. So it will access the value itself, okay, array value. If so, what's the condition whether you want to count? If it is not in the set, right? If set does not contains if it is does not contains the previous element, then only you going to count and check for the next element. For that, I am going to initialize count here equals to 1. Then I am going to take x for storing the element. Okay, I put an while loop for checking for the next element. So yeah, like set dot contains, if it is contains next element, what do you remember next element? X plus 1 element. If it is there, you make x equals to x plus 1. If it is there, then you are going to make that, and eventually you are going to update count also here itself. So now the count plus equals to 1. Yeah, it's equivalent to count equals to count plus 1. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, count plus 1. This is equivalent to this. Yeah, at the end of the for each loop, what are you going to do? You're just going to store it in a longest. You're going to make longest updation. I'm going to use a math.max function for taking maximum. Yeah, that's what we want, right? So longest, and I'm comparing with the count. Okay, that's all. So yeah, at the end of the day, I can able to return the longest. Yeah, let's run this, guys. At bit the variable count is already defined in the method longest config. So yeah, I should erase this count. Let's run this again. Yeah, accepted. Let's submit up. Yeah, it's accepted. If you understand this problem, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.